FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to and perhaps even watching us on YouTube, the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. Hey, we've got a number of companies that we follow, that we work with, who really have been outstanding performers in the marketplace. And one of my favorite companies, and I own shares in it, and long-term sponsor of FSN is Osino Resources. You should check them out right now and sign up for their notifications. OsinoResources.com, ticker symbols on the TSX Venture, OSI, and on the OTC, OSIIF. And right now, the CEO, Heye Daun, is with us. Heye, we've been working together a long time now. The one thing I never associate, Heye, with a junior mining company, with companies on the TSX Venture, is consistency. And yet, you have consistently delivered on most of the promises that you've made. Now, we'll go through the numbers in a minute, but that is such an unusual thing for a junior miner that I really want to talk to you about that, get your insights. How do you deliver consistent results? That's what I'd like to understand. I think we can all learn from you on that.
Kerry, thank you. You are so generous with your praise all the time. But yes, we try to do what we say we will do. It's as simple as that. And I think one of my key strengths is execution, as they call it in the jargon, or just getting stuff done. I'm very good at that. And I think that has been, there are many reasons for why we've had success, but I think that has been a key reason, is making sure that we get stuff done. So far it's working.
Well, I know obviously you've got to execute on your plan. You've got to get things done, because otherwise the market will eventually drop you like a hot potato if you don't. But look at everything that's gone on over the past year. We've had flash crashes. We've had gold go up, break 2,000, and now it's heading down. Probably not that much longer to go. Correction was due. We've had COVID-19. We've had second, third waves of COVID. We've had elections. All of these things. Doesn't that interfere with your ability, or at least somewhat slow you down?
It hasn't really. In fact, the key event that happened was that financing we did in June, because that really set us free financially. So after that, we knew now we can focus on delivering and actually doing what we really want to do, which is lots of drilling, lots of technical studies. Luckily, we were prudent, because you might remember, I think you interviewed me at the time. Some people said, we overfinanced. I'm very glad we did it in June, because we're in a great position now, and that's why we were able to ramp up the way we have. In comfort. Timing has been good for us, but no, COVID hasn't affected us that much. Most of the marketing has taken place as you and I are doing it now. But the delivery, luckily we hired some very good people in Namibia just in time. We bulked up our team. So we've been able to operate quite successfully, more or less by remote control. So it's been great.
Yeah, and really welcome, because so many companies that we talk to have seen their plans delayed 6, 8, 9 months. You've been going ahead, and your latest drill results are just proof of this. So briefly, Twin Hill Central, that's your main project, but you've got the Clouds District. I think it's about 1.5 kilometers away, and you've had a meaningful strike there.
Yes, for sure. I have always said that Twin Hills is a real project, and we're a real company, in inverted commas, real. But I think these results show that that's the truth. Those are not just empty words. So Twin Hills Central, which is just to remind your listeners, that's the kind of the core deposit in the center of that cluster of targets, or that big orogenic hydrothermal gold system that we have. So Twin Hills Central is coming together very nicely. We've drilled it intensively down to a high level of detail, 50 by 50 meter drill spacing, which is an inferred level of resource definition that's coming out in a couple of months' time in February. But we have done big step outs, as you say, those clouds results, which are a long strike on a high intensity and high priority IP anomaly. And we drilled that. We had some sniffs about a year ago, but it wasn't much more than smoke, but it gave us some confidence, and we built more on that, and then we drilled it now. And that is very, very significant because it basically doubles the strike length of the existing resource, and it opens the door to substantial growth going forward. So yes, that's we're very encouraged by that.
All right, so now you're going to have you've done the step out. Now you're going to have to do the fill in. Basically, now it's connect the dots.
Yes, for sure. That's what's next. In fact, we've got 3 rigs on there in between the 2 clouds targets. We've got 3 rigs drilling right now. Results are starting to trickle in, and our base case is that will all connect all the way down to Twin Hills Central. But we'll know quite soon. In 6 weeks' time, we would have drilled that off, a part of it at least, so that we can say with confidence whether that connects or not. And as I say, I believe it will connect.
Right, and then that's not the end of the story either, though.
No. So basically, the Osino story is all about advancing the central Twin Hills deposit to the resource, PEA, and feasibility stage very rapidly in the first half of next year. So resource in February, PEA in April, and then fast track that into the feasibility. But in order to do like bankable feasibility stage, which is required to progress this to production, we need to do another round of infill drilling. So basically another 50,000 meters of drilling to get it all down to that level of detail. So that's one part. So we're pushing very, very hard on that. Lots of rigs, lots of technical studies to get us to the stage. But at the same time, the exploration, the real step outs, of which we've done some now in the last 6 months, but not that many because we focus so much on the resource drilling. But those step outs from about the end of January next year are going to be a big focus. So lots of drilling on those exploration targets. So we hope that there'll be some more clouds, along the rest of the trend.
Right. And I'm sure at this particular moment in time, you could easily sell off the entire project and probably have several takers out there. But timing in this type of situation really is everything, isn't it?
Yes, timing and value. Our share price at the moment clearly does not discount or does not reflect the inherent value of the project. I mean, the project Twin Hills, my back of envelope calculations have some very, very good numbers. So it has substantial value, but we need to put that on paper, i.e. we've got to do the regulatory stuff, get all the reports out. And that's when producers and other companies tend to take notice. I mean, I can tell you that we're talking to a range of people on an ongoing basis. So the industry players out there know us and they're watching us like hawks. But, when you talk about a takeoff or selling the company, it's premature because we haven't shown the true potential. We haven't shown that up. So not just the potential of the central deposit, but also the exploration potential, which we're going to test substantially in the next 6 months. So I think post PEA next year and post that exploration drilling, things are going to start to get interesting.
Yeah, and one thing we should mention is the stock has gone up substantially over the past year and a half, and that is largely because you've kept your commitments and you've actually done what you said you were going to do.
I appreciate it. I think so too. Thank you. And just to say, if you think that we've done a lot in the last year, wait for the next 12 months. We're going to drill twice as much as we drilled last year. We're going to do, of everything we've done, we're just going to do a lot more and a lot faster.
And you're sitting on a ton of money. I mean, talk about timing. You raise this at really favorable rates, favorable terms, and now you can complete your entire drilling program, never have to think about dilution or dog and pony shows or anything else. So you're really free to focus on your priorities here.
Yes, we are. So we got about $24 million in the bank right now. We've spent about 11 this year. We'll spend about 15 or 17 next year. So we financed through next year and into the year beyond. And then there are quite a few warrants outstanding, which will bring in some extra capital. So no, we really don't have to finance again anytime soon. In fact, I think there's a possibility that we might see this project through all the way to construction with the funds that we have in the bank right now.
Yeah, and that's unheard of. So part of your philosophy is you raise the capital when you can at the most favorable terms, and then you kind of focus in on the business plan, which is what's going to take you there and get you where you need to be.
Yes, sometimes you can control it, sometimes you can't. We struggled somewhat in the beginning, like in the years 2016 and 17 when we were just doing exploration. But this year things have really come together nicely. And yeah, so we can't wait for next year. It's going to be a huge year for us.
Yeah, well, just I was going to say your resource will be right in time for PDAC, except that it's going to be a virtual PDAC. Unfortunate, but we have to play the cards that we're dealt. With everything going virtual, there's not a lot of face-to-face networking other than what we're doing now. Is that an obstacle or is that an opportunity?
I think a lot about that. I miss the in-person networking. I think luckily we built up the relationships when we still could, and that's why Zoom works. But I find it's a little bit harder to build up new relationships online only. So it's been good for me. I've been able to focus on the job and less on traveling, but I can't wait for normalization to occur to start shaking hands again and meeting people in person.
Yeah, it's so important because especially you're talking to people who don't know you, people who've never really looked into your track record, what you've done in the past. And it's really hard when you're on a screen to really get a feeling about somebody. You got to shake their hands, break bread with them. Really, that's the way we've done it in this industry for generations. Now, just to go virtual all of a sudden, it's definitely more of a challenge.
Yeah, no, for sure. I find it a bit odd, but luckily we have this. So we've been able to, make do and keep on going. So I'm pleased that at least this is available.
All right. Final question here. Final topic. Metals prices. So we hit over 2,000 back in August. We've gone sideways for quite a while. Now it looks like we're getting a little bit of a pullback, consolidation. Does that affect anything that you're doing?
Not really, we are financed. Of course, a better sentiment is always good for everyone, but our share price will go up and down. Ultimately, the ultimate measure will be what the takeout price will be. And that's determined by the producers who are very, very cash generative at these prices. So I think it's quite healthy to have a little pullback from time to time. We've had a great run over the last 6 months, and the macro environment. I think I'm very, very, very bullish about gold in the future, and so I think we're fine. We're fine as long as you're financed. We're good.
Yeah, as long as the money's in the bank. I mean, the amazing thing is, like every gold project in the world has pretty much become theoretically feasible under the current pricing structure and energy prices. But the reality is the quality projects are the ones that are going to move ahead, and the marginal projects are going to have to wait for their day to come. Anyways, I suggest everybody go take a look at osinoresources.com. Make sure you sign up for those notifications, because one thing I can assure you is that Heye and Osino will have a steady flow of newsworthy events into this year and next, and you don't want to miss them. The ticker symbols on the TSX Venture OSI and on the OTC OSIIF. And Heye, really a pleasure as always. Oh, by the way, anybody, if you have any questions, just send me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. I will forward it off to Heye and get you a direct response. Heye, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Kerry. It's been great to be on your show again.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.